like a pro. Capita.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Brandi Beauty TV. So today, y'all, we have a little bit of a challenge on our hands, but nothing that we can't handle. We're just gonna break this down section by section and tackle this like it needs to be done, and we're gonna get through it. So this here is my cousin slash client Kaya, and Kaya's hair is severely damaged. She does wear a lot of faux locks and braids, sew-ins, a lot of what you would call or what is put into the protective style category. And then on top of that, she attempted to do this copper color, and it turned her roots like this bright orange. I believe she said she used some L'Oreal color. L'Oreal, I think it was the highlights or the high lift something. At any rate, and then she attempted to do a color correction and didn't go so well. So we have just a little bit of a task on our hands, and I'm going to break this down section by section so that we can get through this, and then also so I can explain to you guys why you should not color your hair at home, and then also why you want to be mindful of the protective styles. So guys, unlike my other videos where I'm normally just doing retouch hair color or virgin hair color or just one-step processes mainly, this one is going to be a little bit different because I am having to do a color correction while simultaneously also having to nurse her hair back to health. So the first thing we need to do is kick out this copper red color that she has here from that highlights color. So I'm applying the Matrix Fast Toner in the color green, mixed with 10 volume, and I'm gonna let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes because I need to neutralize as much of that warmth as possible before we go in with our root shadow. And after that said, I went ahead and I shampooed that, and then I followed that up for her root shadow because I am going to have to add some highlights to her hair. I'm not going to be going super bright and keeping her low lights on the more copper side because those are the tones that she's working with already. So I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to try to use as much of the warmth as I can without it clashing and looking, how she doesn't want it to look. So I'm using the Matrix 3N. I'm using the Demi and not the permanent. I wanted to use a Demi because it's just a little bit more gentle than the permanent color. Not that it makes a huge difference, but in her case, her hair is so fragile. I wanted to make all of our processes very, very gentle. So I'm using a level 3, a neutral level 3 and 10 volume for her root shadow, and I'm just gonna just drag that out so I can get it as seamless as possible to blend in with the rest of what she has going on. So all this faded brown that you see, she had attempted to put like a dark brown, I want to say maybe even a black, dark brown, natural black, whatever hair color on it to fix the red, orange copper red scenario that she had going on, and it faded, which of course it was going to do that because when you're dealing with coppers and reds, you have to neutralize that first. Otherwise, it's going to show up. Like, those are very, very, very warm, intense colors, and you have to be really intentional about your processes so that it doesn't overtake the entire head of hair, which is so easy for that to do. So I'm combing that out, making sure that I get that root shadow nice and blended and nice and seamless from roots so that when it starts to fade and we put our highlights on, you don't see any lines of demarcation. So like I mentioned before, guys, I'm trying to make these processes very gentle, and I'm trying to get from A to Z the quickest but most simplest way that I can. I don't want to do too much to Kaya's hair because, like I said, it's already very, very delicate, and it's actually a little on the high side as far as her porosity, and that is because her cuticle layer is damaged due to the back-to-back protective styles and this color that she attempted. So I am doing some highlights just to kind of even out this color a little bit, create some kind of dimension. I'm not going for crazy dimension. That's why I'm bringing this lightener up kind of high. I don't mind her being a little rooty, and you seeing a couple, maybe two different shades, the root shade, and it dragging out a little bit, fading into that nice brown color that she has, even though it really is like a faded black. It's okay. We're gonna work with it and use it to our benefit. So I'm just gonna do some surface painting. I'm using 30 volume developer and clay lightener. The clay lightener is going to act like a shell, so it's going to harden as I go along. So it's going to kind of incubate and do all the processing. So the outside of the clay lightener actually gets hard like a shell, and then up underneath it stays pretty moist. And I'm wrapping it in foil just to bring a little, not foil, but balayage film, just to bring a little bit more heat to it so it can process even faster. But I know that her hair could possibly take a longer time to lift because of the processes. So I'm going to add some heat, and I'm going to put her up under the dryer for about 15 to 20 minutes just to kind of bake it a little bit, make this developer work speedy quick. And then once I get done with that, I'm going to take her back to the shampoo bowl, and I'm going to do a intensive repair mask, and I'm going to sit her under the dryer for about 30 minutes so that can really work and soften her cuticles. And guys, these things, when you're doing a color correction such as this, anything that is not a straightforward approach pretty much counts as a color correction. So if you have to do multiple processes, that's when you start getting into color correction territory. And guys, they can get really, 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 really expensive. I know some stylists, color corrections start at $150 an hour. They don't even have a set price because you go through so much product. It's tedious. It's a lot of labor. It's a lot of thinking to save someone's hair and to keep the integrity while working on it for hours at a time with blending and processing. Guys, it can get really, really intense, and it can take multiple sessions even. So a lot of these things, such as color corrections, they can't be achieved in one session, not if you're trying to get there safely. So I always urge people, some things just don't do at home. Like some things just, unless you just really don't care about your hair and you don't mind cutting it off and starting over, and it don't really matter to you, then fine, do your thing, to each his own. But if you do care and you don't want to start from scratch every time, and you don't want to have to chop your hair off, some things just lead to the professionals. And I think hair color is definitely, it's definitely one of those things. And so, as you can see, we was able to achieve a really nice blend. And for Kaya's toner, I mixed Redken Shades EQ 7CB, which stands for copper brown, and a cap full of orange kicker, just to kind of give it a little bit more impact. And that got us to a nice, beautiful kind of copper golden shade. Really, really pretty, really soft, friendly for her. So she got that pop of color that she wanted without risking her integrity. And for her blow dry, guys, I am doing the tension method. I am pulling this hair out. I applied a lot of my agave and lavender blow dry serum complex, the spray that you saw me spray. I applied a lot of that because I needed some assistance with Kaya's hair right now. It's lacking a lot of moisture, so I'm having to lubricate it as much as possible so her strands are not being bruised and beaten up even more so than they already were. So that's going to serve as a protective barrier between this blow dryer and me manipulating it further. And now I am applying a serum, my K&B serum, and I'm being very, very, very generous with the lubricants for her hair because, like I said, her porosity is high. It's very, very high, for more than what I would like it to be, and it's gonna take a couple sessions for her hair to start, becoming balanced, and so it can start behaving. And she's just going to have to be very, very diligent about her home care and using salon grade products. It really does make a big difference. And so, if you even look to like the left, her ends are so porous. They were reverting back as I was pressing it out. And that's all because the porosity is high. Her hair is extremely thirsty. It's out now. So any bit of moisture that they can grab a hold to is going to do it. And so the only way to get rid of that problem is to cut it. So we're going to have to do a really, really good trim, and we're going to have to knock all of that out. Okay, y'all, this is reason 6,543 why I cannot stand the idea of having a protective style and living in them, because it makes you have to do this, what I'm doing right now, and that's cutting off all of this length. If you can see, and her hair is in much better shape now than it was in the beginning when we started, but it's still not there yet. She still have a way to go. I would say we may be about 50 to 60% there after today's session, but we got a little bit more work to do to get this to be at its optimum health. But guys, protective styles, let me tell you, I know some people just swear by them and they say they make their hair grow, whatever. They don't really make your hair grow. Your hair is going to grow regardless. It just stops you from playing in it. But while it's stopping you from having access to your hair, it's also cutting off the nutrients that your hair needs. It needs oxygen, it needs water, it needs to be lubricated by the natural oils and the sebum that your roots create, that your follicles create. And when you trap your hair in protective styles, you pretty much limit how much lubricant gets to those strands. And if it's not lubricated, it will dry out. Just like anything else, you have to keep it moisturized, and moisturized doesn't mean water. Hydration means water. Moisturized means lubricated, and your hair and your body has natural ways of lubricating your body. Your skin creates its own oils. Your hair creates its own oils and sebums so that it could stay moisturized, stay lubricated, stay healthy, and so it keeps your porosity in check too, so you don't have to use so much product and whatnot. And this is kind of where we are right now with Kaya. None of these ends could be saved. I told her I would save as much as I possibly could, but I was, my feelings was just a little bit hurt because I was like, dang, like she got all this, length. I mean, it is length, but it ain't nothing we can do with it. I mean, it was just entirely too damaged. And I know you could see just how see-through some of these ends were. And so I'm just like, most of the time I would tell clients, so if they're uncomfortable with cutting off a whole lot, essentially I'm all about keeping the client comfortable. I want to do and work with you. Ain't nobody trying to make anybody bald-headed or anything, but it's some cases where I'm just like, I can't save any of this. There's nothing I can do with it. And I'm not going to be sitting here an extra 30 minutes recurling your hair as I'm styling it, because it won't hold the style, because it's just so damaged. And if I would have kept any of Kaya's ends, that's what I would have been doing. And I don't believe in wasting other people's time or my time. And so I'm just like, cut this stuff off. Cut it off. And just start taking care of it. I want to also add that Kai was also using the wrong shampoo. She was using purple shampoo. And purple pigmented shampoo is traditionally used for people with silver, gray hair, or blonde hair to neutralize brassiness. And the issue with that shampoo when used incorrectly is that it is extremely high in terms of alkaline, which means that it can be extremely drying to the hair. So that also means that you have to follow up with moisturizing shampoos, hydrating shampoos to restore the balance and restore the moisture content. And so she was only using that shampoo. So you add protective styling, braids, sew-ins. She doesn't wear her hair like at all. And then using the wrong shampoo to cleanse her scalp. Y'all, we had a bit of a mess going on here, but it's okay. We fixing it today, and that's all that matters. I'm happy she came. I'm happy I was able to get her hair back to a good place so that she can start doing what she has to do at home. And as far as hair repair and what I would suggest so she can take better care of it and so she can start getting on the road to recovery, stay out of the protective styles. That's the main thing, because that is what has put her in this position in the first place. Stay out of the protective styles. Shampoo her hair regularly with the correct products, clarifying, moisturizing. She needs to do treatments. I would say bi-weekly treatments at least for the next 2 months to get her hair back hydrated. And yeah, it could be done. And as you can see, we have come a very, very, very long way from where we began. Her color looks nice. It's shiny. And I ain't lying to y'all. I saturated her hair with some oil. That's why I'm smoking like this, because I make sure I lubricated those ends because it needed it. It was very, very thirsty. It was like begging for it. That's why it was reverting as I was styling it and pressing it out. And I'm sitting here like, we just have to make sure that we are putting the right information out there in terms of people being so hell-bent on protective styles and thinking that they're just so good for the hair, when in reality, guys, they're really, really not. And everybody's hair doesn't recover from these so quote-unquote protective styles the same way. Some people, after taking their braids out, they have to really get a lot of hair chopped off. The hair be really dry for a long time. And so can you imagine living in when I say braids, I mean when you're using like extra braiding hair, it's plastic, so it's essentially suffocating your strands, literally. I mean, you drying your hair out, so doing them, every now and then, it's okay. I say you can get braids, for about 6 weeks at a time. After 6 weeks, take them out, maybe twice a year. If you're gonna do it during the summertime, but definitely not in the wintertime or in the dry season. Depending on where you live, this is all just based upon your lifestyle and where you're located on the map, because climate plays a big part in this. But here in Georgia, it gets really, 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 really cold. Like, we are experiencing a cold front right now. We in the 30s right now. So you don't want to do braids and stuff like that here during that time. Not good. So yeah, we got it back. It looks so much better. I'm really, really pleased. And I say if she can keep her hair out for a solid 6 months, she's gonna see some wonderful results. She's gonna see a great turnaround. And I'm really, really happy she decided to take the plunge and go ahead and do something different. And I'm glad I was able to give her a little pop of color. I Of course, I would have loved and wanted to do more, but sometimes it's just not feasible to do that. Sometimes you just have to do what's best for the individual and what their hair can take. And in today's case, this is all that Kaya's hair could take. And I'm pleased with it. She was very pleased with it. And this is her first time really wearing her hair out. She don't even get her hair pressed often, if at all. So she was like staring at herself like, who is this? Like, how am I gonna get used to this? So it's my hope that she does stay out of the protective styles for a little while and just love on her hair a little bit. She deserves it. So thank y'all so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do that. Make sure you like, make sure you comment. Biggest thing is subscribe. Y'all know we've been growing. We really have. And I will see y'all in my next video.